Hello, everyone. Welcome to WJELP. My name is Jackson, and today is the 5th of May, 2025. Go ahead, hop right into our current radar across the nation here. We've had weather over the Ohio River Valley for the last 2 or 3 days, including all the storms last week. Uh, 2 or 3 fronts pushing through, as well as some pop-up showers. But we had that cutoff low develop right over Louisville, and it has just kind of been circling ever since. And on the over the Rockies here over Arizona, we've seen another cutoff low. We'll go ahead and see if we let this thing kind of run here. Developing as well, rotating about four corners. Um, as we kind of see a pretty interesting pattern here with these two lows circulating here and a bit of a high pressure down the middle, and that'll kind of be our discussion for today. I've got the blocking patterns tab up and ready to discuss what we've been seeing the last couple of days. So go ahead and hop over to kind of the future here, looking at the Euro model. We'll probably just look at the Euro as we see the low pressure system moving off to the northwest, or northeast, my bad, from the Ohio River Valley, and the low pressure system kind of sticking over Four Corners as it seems like the jet stream kind of reconnects over the north, and then finally pushes this low pressure system to the southern U.S., and this one now exiting off of Canada. So this is Thursday afternoon. Some pop-up showers as that low pressure system not really circulating anything, but allowing for that warm, moist air to kind of fill back in um, as it gets pushed out now over the Gulf. Another round here into Friday evening as it pushes over Florida. Kind of leaves us with a pretty good high pressure system into the weekend now. Thought we were going to have something similar last weekend, but of course that fell apart a bit, and that's where we saw that cutoff low. But into Sunday night, still looks like pretty decent weather over the weekend, so hopefully that's able to stick. Monday, pushing out is the high pressure system as we see this low over the northern U.S. really develop. But again, that's a week out and may not stick in the long term here. Looking over at the SPC, just enhanced weather for Texas, a little bit of New Mexico, as that low keeps circulating over Four Corners, kind of bringing in some bands here to western Texas. Looking at the day two, we have a slight risk again over the other half of Texas into a little bit of Louisiana, and some thunderstorms, marginal risk, and nothing really out on the horizon. Possibly, as that low continues to push on, potentially the southern U.S. might see some storms, but it doesn't look like anything too dangerous at the moment. So. It's really kind of about it, with nothing really forecasted along the way. Um, so we'll go ahead, hop into kind of the regional um, reports here with the WS4000 simulator. Gonna look at Huntsville first, so we'll pop this up. There is a new version. I need to get that tested here, but we see regional observations across Huntsville 60s. It's been cool today, cloudy. Um, a little bit windy as we see winds of the west southwest, 8 miles an hour. Pressure is dropping as that low pressure is kind of moving through here, or kind of north of here. And tonight, more partly cloudy, then becoming mostly clear this late evening and early morning, then becoming partly cloudy. Lows in the upper 40s. West winds around 10 miles an hour early this afternoon become light and variable. So upper 40s with that low pressure system sitting in the north of us. Tuesday, mostly sunny in the morning, then becoming partly cloudy. Highs in the mid 70s, light and variable winds. And then Tuesday night, likely similar temperatures, lows in the upper 50s, mostly cloudy, a chance of showers after midnight, light and variable winds, and chance of rain 50% as we see a bit more of that moist air moving back north as that low pressure system moves to the northeast. So Wednesday, showing thunderstorms, Thursday PM thunderstorms, Friday scattered showers, kind of lower 70s, upper 60s for temperatures there. With again, so just some evening heating and some storms there. Forecast for Tuesday, we'll have some pretty nice weather to the northeast and a bit of rain, some storms, and likely later to the east or west and south. And open new locale. Look up here at Cincinnati. It's fine. 60s, some 50s here. Denver, Charleston, Louisville, Indianapolis, Dayton. Mostly cloudy, it looks like. Winds calm. Pressure is dropping as that low pressure system still sits over the Ohio River Valley. We go ahead and look at tonight. Partly cloudy with 40% chance of showers. Lows in the upper 40s. Southwest winds around 5 miles an hour early this evening, becoming light and variable, then becoming southwest around 5 miles an hour after midnight. Tuesday, mostly cloudy with a chance of showers in the morning, then partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers, with a slight chance of thunderstorms in the evening, possibly. In the afternoon, highs in the upper 60s, southwest winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, chance of rain 50%. And Tuesday night, partly cloudy, slight chance of showers in the early evening. And I believe that's probably where it'll cut off. So looking at Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, later in the week, we see a bit of sun, bookending it as that high pressure system will push that low pressure out Wednesday and Thursday. 70 degrees. Looks like it'll be a nice weekend as well. And for Cincinnati. And looking at tomorrow, still some storms as that low pressure moves its way northeast. Go ahead, open up Columbus as we look at the northeast of Cincinnati. That is not working, so we'll go ahead and open up Louisville. It's fine. Nothing working there. So maybe I need to update to 4.1. Go ahead, run Raleigh, see if it does anything. Does not look like it, so that is fine. We can go ahead, move on to what we saw this past weekend and what we're kind of still seeing today, and that is a block or blocking high. Blocks in meteorology are a large scale pattern in the atmospheric pressure field that are nearly stationary, effectively blocking and redirecting migratory cyclones, also known as blocking highs or blocking anticyclones. These blocks can remain in place for several days or even weeks, causing the areas affected by them to have some kind of weather for an extended period of time. One that we saw is the Omega block. Because the isobars are geopotential height contours with which they're associated in the northern hemisphere resemble an omega. They typically have a low, high, low pattern arranged in a west-east direction. So we come back over here and come back to current time. We see we have a low here and a low here, and a little bit of a high pressure kind of like nose in here, and it might be a little bit easier. I believe I pulled up maybe the temperature map. Yeah, you can kind of see it here. So these lower pressures are going to be colder or cooler, and then the highs are going to be kind of this warmer nose. So you kind of see a little bit of this coming up, a warm nose, and then out. out, making that omega shape. And so you kind of see it as the altitude goes up a little bit easier here. Yeah, you can kind of see how there's cold air here, nice warm little sector. This is at 10,000 feet. Hop over to wind, and you can kind of bring it up kind of several tens of thousands of feet. And you see the kind of outline of the jet stream coming underneath and then making its way back around here. Again, creating that omega shape. But what we saw over the weekend, at least with kind of rain over the Derby, was that before this low is entirely cut off, and you can kind of see how it's whirling around itself. And that's if you kind of see like a little trough like here pushing through. The jet stream might just connect right here. You can see some of these contours, some of these particles kind of connecting up here. If that becomes strong enough, the jet stream will just kind of reattach itself over here and leave these lows to spin for a while, and that might lead to some kind of monsoons over Arizona, or as we saw over the past weekend, with plenty of rain over the Ohio River Valley, as well as a few bands of rain into the Tennessee River Valley. And so, again, that formed pretty much Saturday, and we're not going to see that move out of the Ohio River Valley till, I mean, we're still seeing that circulation up north there. So Tuesday, pushing out probably about Tuesday night. Yeah, because you see that high pressure system blocking both those lows now. So, I mean, Saturday, so Sunday's a full day, Monday, Tuesday, so lasting 3, 4 days sitting over Louisville, whereas we might see a front push through in 6 hours. So, increases the amount of precipitation. Usually it's not super stormy, but with these kind of mid-spring storms, the temperature gradient's so great that those storms will generate nothing really tornadic, but we did see plenty of hail and rain. But Euro has this low pressure system kind of pushing off. It looks like it's kind of being left in the dust as well by the jet stream here. This circulating here, this really just a bit of a jet streak that's kind of been left behind, pushing through the top of this low pressure and bringing storms to Texas, as we saw with the SPC Day 2 outlook here. But, I mean, once those clear through, with that jet stream being so far north, the high pressures form in behind it and usually leave for some pretty good weather after these kind of blocking events push through. So that's at least some good news for the future. I think that pretty much covers everything I wanted to take a look here with blocks. I mean, cutoff highs and lows. So I'll go ahead and open up this cutoff low as well. So cutoff high low, upper high or low pressure system comes second place due to lack of steering currents. It is known as being cut off. The usual pattern which leads to this is the jet stream retreating poleward, leaving the then cutoff system behind. Whether or not the system is of high or low pressure variety dictates the weather that the block causes. Precisely this situation occurred over the southern U.S. during late spring and early summer 2007, when a cutoff low system hovered over the region, brought unusually cool temperatures and an extraordinary amount of rain to Texas and Oklahoma. See June 2007 Texas flooding. Approximately 8 inches of rain poured in northern Texas and 2 flood-related deaths. Wow. So we saw a good amount of rain for ourselves as well. And I mean, I want to kind of take a look at, let's see if we can find Louisville rain totals May and just see May 2025, 1.6 inches. So far, we can kind of take a look at Louisville, Kentucky weather history and see if this pops up a graph. Let's look at 2025 May view. And kind of take a look at the daily totals here. No thanks, sorry. So it doesn't look like too much. Then again, well, it's daily, I guess. Let's take a look at the week. About half an inch, so about an inch. Yeah, an inch. Or am I crazy? No, I am crazy. We gotta go monthly. I'm not sure what the 4.5 inches is, but um, looks like, yeah, maybe inch and a quarter of rain. So not a whole lot seen, which is, I guess, a lot better than the 8 inches that Texas saw. Cut off high near the coast of Georgia that caused a drought in the southeast the same year. Rainy, cooler weather results in the block below the U.S. Okay, so cutoff low, sometimes referred to as a weatherman's woe, is defined by the National Weather Service as a closed upper level low which has become completely displaced, cut off from basic westerly current and moves independent of that current. Cutoff lows form in mid-latitudes and can remain nearly stationary for days. So again, as we saw, about 3 or almost 4 days of that low being stationary over Louisville. So usually I checked in with I think Mark Weinberg out of Louisville tweeted something about the cutoff low, and I believe I asked kind of what forms it. Is this kind of typical for now? Ignore the that's highlights here. It'd be in replies. Yeah, so talked about it earlier this week, but Derby's notorious for closed lows. These lows are cut off from the jet stream. When you see this in a weather model, you know this historical backing. It will happen on Derby Day, and the rain chance is going to be sky high. I said, how does this specific week so regularly see cutoff lows? Is something about the climate or seasonal patterns in mid-spring that just make this week perfect for this type of event? He just simply stated, it's the time of year we see less cold air, and that lack of cold air causes lows to close off, which makes sense. The air is starting to warm up again as we pop back over here. That air is starting to warm up, and the cold fronts aren't as cold as before, and so they're not able to kind of keep filling themselves with cold air as that warm air fills the pockets left behind. So it makes sense. So we might see a few more as May kind of trickles on, but it was just something neat to see and explains why a majority of Kentucky Derbies are rainy. So I believe that's all I want to cover for today. Not really an active week. So yeah, I will be out later this week and next week. So the next video is going to probably be on May 19th. But yeah, feel free to join the Discord. I might send updates there if anything exciting happens next week. But in the meantime, leave a comment if you want to learn anything new or want to see anything different with the videos, or join the Discord, message me there. So thanks, y'all, and have a great rest of your week. See ya.